everyone, and welcome to Bad News Playground Expose Session 3 for Trinity, Continuum, and Interview with the Aberrant. I am Travis Legge. My pronouns are he and they, and I will be your story guide for the evening. Let's have everyone go ahead and introduce themselves, tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would care to promote. And let's start that off this time with James. Please give us all of your pertinent details.
Well, I'm James, pronouns they, he. I'm pretty easy because I don't really exist on social media yet. I am playing Joel Wolf. He is, or they are, it's a little bit confusing. They are a up-and-coming journalist trying to make a difference in the world, and maybe a little full of themselves sometimes.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. We love them despite their flaws, be they small or large. Next up, we have Josh. Please give us your pertinence.
Hello, I'm Joshua Deach, he, him. I'm a writer for all things gaming and fiction. I will be playing Ambrose Holloway, also known as Slip, sort of a wealthy layabout from a wealthy family who's been kind of forced, sobbing and screaming, into the world of psychic talent to make use of himself, and he does not want to be here.
Glorious. And is there anything that you wanted to promote or share with the class?
Yeah, I can be reached below my name at Joshua Deach, as it's spelled there. Also joshuadeach.com, although there's not a whole lot there, but you can reach out to me on Twitter. Since we're entering the spooky season, the thing I'll plug the most is They Came From Beyond the Grave, which allows you to play campy horror movies, specifically the 60s, 70s Hammer film era. I have heard many apocryphal tales of gaming conventions knowing where this game's being played because the laughter emanates to everywhere else. You'll have the most fun you've had playing in a long time, so take advantage. There are other books that, for example, take you into the 80s with slasher horror. It's I think They Came From Camp Crystal Lake, or no, They Came From Camp Murder Lake. That's what it is. And there are They Came From games that cover other movie genres, all with a humorous kind of bent. You can play straight up horror. You can play Dracula Dead and Loving It, or probably somewhere in between. But yeah, take advantage of that game.
Please do. And just a reminder that They Came From Beyond the Grave is available not only at Drive-Thru RPG at the link that I've shared in the chat, but also at your friendly local game store. Just go in and tell them you want a copy of They Came From Beyond the Grave. They should be able to order it through Studio 2 or Indie Press Revolution.
It's not out yet. There's an upcoming book called something like Monsters from the Crypt, which has all kinds of goodies in there, including how to make monsters. And I think I have a sample in there that combines Children of the Corn with Field of Dreams into something I like to call Field of Screams. I
love it. It's beautiful and seasonally appropriate. And speaking of beautiful and seasonally appropriate, I guess next up, let's go to Haley. Please give us all your pertinence.
Why, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Beyblade. I'm Beyblade 666, also known as Haley. I'm playing Cherry 5000. She's a cyborg from the Blight Zone, just trying to get by. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram mostly at babe_blade666. I do cosplays. I'm in multiple streams for role playing, and it's just the funnest hobby that I've ever had.
Well, we are thrilled and honored to have you. Thank you very much for joining us at this table. And speaking of people we're thankful that joined us at this table, please, Scott, give us all of your pertinent details.
Hi, my name is Scott. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Henri Minot, who is a mutant living out in the Blight Zone, along with his terrible, wonderful bird, Brigitte. You can find me on Twitter at Simulacra RPGs. You can also find me on Twitch and YouTube at Simulacra TV, which is the Simulacra Studios actual play studio that I run. Do a lot of Trinity Continuum on there. And yeah, I'm excited because everything's going to go fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great. Nothing to worry about. Everything is good here. Everything fine, situation normal. And your character is a one of the corrupted.
Yes, he is a mutated person. Although it only shows if you know that he is in fact 19 and not the 40-year-old man that he looks like. And I guess I might pull out some terrible powers this time around. We'll see.
You will probably have an opportunity. And those terrible powers can be found in Corrupted, which is now available over at the Story Path Nexus. It is a set of rules for playing sub-aberrant mutants as a character template. And it seems to be selling pretty well and getting some pretty good responses from folks. So if you've not yet checked that out, please consider doing so. I threw the link in the chat. And thank you very much for being the canary down my coal mine as whether or not this worked, Scott. I appreciate it.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I can't recommend it enough. I think that they really add something to the mix of Trinity Continuum Aeon. And I enjoyed very simple character creation rules, and I really like the sections that you put on how various factions would use them or let them into their ranks. Very useful.
Thank you. Yeah, that was honestly, like, you'll get to see some of it in play during this, and that's cool. And the crunch part's fine. But the part I'm probably proudest of is ways that you can bring these characters into existing parties without it suddenly being, everybody killed the sub-aberrant mutant. And threading that needle and keeping the integrity of the setting. So it's a lot of fun. I'm glad that you liked it because I know if I've made Scott happy, I've won at least half the battle of the Trinity Continuum fan base. So thank you so much. And next up, that brings us to Emma. Please give us all of your pertinence.
Hey, I'm Emma. I'm she/her, and you can find me at Lupine Vendetta on Twitter. And I will be playing your resident shoot first, ask questions later, Fiona. Also she/her. And I'm ready to pew 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 pew. Yeah. Or throw Sherry, as it may be.
I do suspect.
Oh yeah.
Because we were gonna.
Yes, there will be some pew pew and an opportunity to throw cherry, I promise.
Yes.
And I guess last but not least, yes, that leaves us with Zach. Please give us your pertinence.
Hello, I am Zachary Naldra, he, him. If you look somewhere below my face, right around here, it should say @ZachRules. That's where you can find me on Twitter. It is www.zachrules.com is also my website. I'm a freelance TTRPG and community content writer. And with the news in yesterday's release roundup that the community content assets for They Came From Beyond the Grave are coming out soon. They Came to Get You, Barbara is going to be coming out very soon. And if you want to check it out, I will be running it for Save Against Fear over on Start Playing Games next weekend.
That is amazing. Beautiful title. Beautiful title. Well done. Good form. And I already introduced myself, so let's get down to the meat and potatoes of it, shall we? As we are starting a new session of a Trinity Continuum game, I do want to give you all the opportunity to employ any tweaks you might like to make to your character. You can, if you would like, shift one dot from one attribute to another, or one dot from one skill to another. If you do so, you have to mark the new attribute or skill and make sure you use it in a die roll this session. Make sense?
It does make sense.
Anybody want to make any tweaks?
So not a tweak. Can I just buy stuff?
You can also buy things on with
I have, let me see. So it's not the book I'm looking for. I believe skills are 5, correct?
I wrote them down so I wouldn't have to remember. Yes.
Okay. Then I would like to spend 5 experience and increase my empathy to 2.
Okay.
And is there
Was there anything else?
do I need to have a 3 dots and something to get us to buy a skill trick?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you can buy a skill trick whenever you want. You can't use a skill trick if your skill is less than 3. So if you want to throw away some XP, sure.
That doesn't leave me with any XP to throw away, though. I'm trying to figure out how to spend this for.
You could just hold on to it. That is an option.
I am
Is
going to
an
make
option.
one tweak. As I have science, but we have not really used science for anything. So I'm going to move a dot from science into aim because apparently there's violence this episode.
That's fair. I'll allow it.
Maury, I'll protect you.
And I assume at some point during this, Fiona has at least attempted to teach Joel how to properly handle a weapon.
Yes. I don't know if that worked.
We'll find out.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. That's fair. Any other tweaks? And I knew that during the downtime. Oh, yes.
I did spend my 5 XP to max out close combat. So here we go.
Beautiful. During the downtime, as the interview was being prepared and various B-roll was being shot, there was some interest from Joel in setting up a sort of updated communication relay, trying to help boost their signal and get them the best access to communication possible. Am I remembering that accurately?
Yes, he wants, if we can improve their communication to us on the outside, they can potentially feed us, hey, we're running low on this. Can you maybe see if we can get a supply run or something? We can maybe try and work something out. He also just feels for them and wants to see what all he can do to help, and that's kind of his area of expertise. Cool.
Is anyone going to help with this particular task? This is going to be effectively, it's going to be a super science task, but it'll be an extended task. You're going to be operating at a difficulty of 2 with a complication of 3 for each of your milestones. And you'll need to reach 3 milestones to be able to boost a signal sufficiently enough that it will reach a relay that you could drop halfway between here and Bordeaux, which you would then be able to theoretically be able to communicate with so long as the relay stayed active. Sound workable?
Yeah.
And is anyone else going to help with this task?
I may be able, if you'll allow it, I would maybe roll survival to help him take into account weather patterns and the like.
Sure. Yeah. The Blessure very well. So
even just knowing the area to potentially put the relay in would help. Somewhere that would be less disturbed. Because if I remember correctly, you yourself aren't trying to get out. You're trying to get your siblings out?
Yes, that is right. He's presumably he's getting out. That's what the paperwork says. But he internally does not think that he's going to get out of this place alive. Okay. Because he has self-worth problems because he's a mutant.
He's ready to die.
Yeah, he's ready to die. As long as his siblings are okay, his life really doesn't matter that much to him, and he will say as such if sufficiently drunk.
Excellent. Well, given his knowledge of La Blessure, he may rely on survival absolutely to contribute to this role. Cherry, you had a question.
I think I can contribute survival too, or technology.
Technology would be the better one.
Okay.
I would assume, as it's more along the lines of exactly what's needed. And what is Joel going to be relying on?
Joel will be relying mainly on his technological knowledge as well. So
right. So we've got
I was
Would,
gonna, sorry,
No,
I was
by all
gonna
means.
potentially, if you needed Joel to put sort of like a receiver or a transmitter anywhere, like if he, I'd be
You're gonna
willing
go
to
out
climb
there and hold
things.
the satellite dish.
I'd be willing to find a place to like duct tape it on or something if you needed that.
All right, so contributing athletics then?
Yeah.
Okay. And did MJ have something that they wanted to contribute as well?
well, I was going to ask, with MJ having grown up in a blight zone, would their survival knowledge be able to be helpful in any way?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Survival's on the table. So, and then did Slip have anything to add?
Slip has been nursing a new alcohol
Addiction.
regimen, and to keep his mind from cracking. But he's very pliable to, especially in that state, to if people want to try and make use of his weird brain.
What power do you think would be most applicable here?
Well, he is find the right. He with his not a psychocognition. He's good at finding the path of least resistance to a goal.
Excellent. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and spend a point of psi.
Okay.
I would like you to roll your psi plus mode. And you need to overcome a complication of 3.
3. Okay. And then I've got I think I have the favored mode.
Yeah, which gives you enhancement too.
Enhancement. Okay, so I don't roll those. That's just if I get a success, that's 2 more successes, right? Yeah.
Right. And the only reason I'm even making you roll this is because you're in a quantum flux zone.
That's
a
4.
A bad one.
Okay, so yeah. So that's 4 successes plus the 2 enhancement.
Right. The good news is that you're able to effectively add 3 successes to the overall pool. So that's enough to knock out, what did I say, difficulty 2, complication 3?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can just stack all of that, throw all that at the first one, or you can use the successes that Slip has generated as a pool of enhancement to draw from throughout the process. Which way would you like to use that? Ultimately, it's up to Slip.
Personally, I think the pool of enhancement would be. It seemed like at least most of us were relying on skills that we're pretty darn good at. So I think having that pool of enhancement for when we miss it by 1.
What do you say, Slip?
Sounds good to me. Yeah. So like you occasionally kind of point Slip at a problem, and he gives weird jarring statements occasionally. So there's some useful clue like do that, don't do that, don't say that, do that.
Don't put the space there.
Yeah.
And I'll get back to what Slip notices in a minute. For the first round of let's everyone go ahead and roll their rolls for the first round. Just let me know what attribute you're pairing with, and I'll just go around and see what everyone has gotten. Let's start with Cherry. You're doing technology, and what were you pairing that with?
Resolve.
Excellent. Give me resolve tech.
Okay.
Difficulty 2, complication 3.
Oh, okay. 3, 6 dice. Two successes, but does a 10 count as 2?
No, 10's reroll.
Oh,
So
so
you count the 10,
Yeah.
you reroll it again.
okay, one
Exploding
sec.
pens.
2.
All right, so 2 successes. Do you want to pull from those enhancements, or do you want to see if the next person making a tech roll can hit that complication?
Yeah, how does that work?
So either you pull the successes now, or when Joel rolls their technology, they'll have to make up for your complication that you did not make up.
Oh,
So they'll have to make up a 3. Well, they won't have to make up for they'll have to make up for the complication on this milestone, I should say. Right? Because you just got the difficulty, you did not get enough to take away the complication of the milestone. So right now you've gotten the milestone, but it may have a complication attached to it. Does that make sense?
so like succeed at a cost kind of thing.
Right.
Okay. Let's do that. Let's make it interesting.
All right, excellent. So you're letting the complication hang. Now it's still possible that Joel can resolve this complication because it's the same dice pool.
I'm only Windows Vista. I can't blame me.
That's fair.
It's
hard to get upgrades out here in
how
Level
much
Zero.
you can do on old operating systems as the
Yeah.
cybersecurity expert.
Tried.
So go ahead and give me that tech roll. And what's Joel going to lean on?
Joel's going to lean on his intelligence for this one. And I do have a specialty in technology for cybersecurity. Would that apply to this?
No, because it's not cross. Specialties are always cross beneficial.
Okay.
The specialty doesn't apply because it's within the skill you're rolling. Make sense?
Okay. All right. So that would be. That is 4 successes.
Excellent. Are you going to, so that hits your difficulty and resolves 2 of the complication on this technology roll. Are you going to draw from any of the enhancement at this point?
I think it would be a good idea to go ahead and pull the 1 so we don't have that complication on there.
Excellent. So the technology milestone is hit. Let's see if the survival milestone gets hit.
Work.
So everyone who's rolling survival, go ahead and make that roll.
Since this is a long distance communication project, would my long distance athletics specialty kick in?
That is such a stretch. Yes.
It's an
Why not?
athletic specialty.
Yeah, sure.
It's an athletic specialty.
Sure. Why not? I'll allow it. It's a +1 enhancement.
All right.
So just don't make sure you take your ibuprofen after stretching like that.
Took it before the game. Haha.
Okay, so I'm sorry, it takes me a while to learn these systems. We're trying to hit at 8, right?
You are trying to hit me.
Okay.
All right, so we have 3 successes on the first roll for the survival. So that will meet our difficulty and resolve 1 complication. Do you want to dip into our pool of enhancement at this point?
I'm going to use the long distance enhancement to buy off one of those complications.
Right, so there's 1 complication remaining when it goes to our next survival roll. So what did Henri get on that survival roll?
I went with stamina, just figuring like I'd be the one going out and like going to like the terrible places to actually install relays and stuff. And I got 5 successes on that roll.
Excellent. So that will resolve the complication, and you're going to add 3 enhancement to this athletics roll that Fiona's making to climb up and help get into places that maybe you might not be able to get to so easily. So
You're literally
Fiona,
stepping on like my face.
Yeah. I paired it with resolve because I know I need to do this. So I'm like, I got to do this. And I got 7 successes.
excellent. So this is between the enhancement that you already had, the enhancement from the vision, this is going to be an exceptional success regardless. So not only do you create a clear channel of communication between Require and Bordeaux, but you're able to secure it in such a way that it will effectively have covert of 3 for anyone trying to find it. So that makes it much more well hidden. You also I'm going to funnel a bunch of that back into this, the remaining enhancements back into the vision that Slip has had. And as you're kind of going through and just like, as soon as you resolve the last sort of question, Slip, as to how to maximize this network, you are overwhelmed with the taste of iron, followed by the sickly, like ozone smell. Your vision starts to fill with a red mist as you see a cloaked figure approaching outside the window in the distance, about 15 feet tall, with just flecks of flesh and droplets of blood sort of just flopping off of them as their robes bounce with each step.
Slip screams and says, beware the cloaked figure.
What cloaked figure?
I'm the only one seeing the cloaked figure.
You're the only one of us who has the ability to have visions, my friend.
Where should I shoot?
They should not be surprising to you.
Did you eat or drink something unknown again?
Whatever this is.
That's where my bathtub hooch went. He comes by and grabs.
Well, at least it's better than being made of someone's spit. Yeah.
Depends on what else the bathtub is used for.
That is also true, but it could be worse.
With the relay in place and this horrible vision in mind, did any of you have any further questions or input that you wanted to give to Rabib about the interview itself?
Can I test the relay?
Absolutely, yeah, it works perfect.
All right. And
Crystal clear as a bell.
I'm gonna send my footage out to get out to my contact to kind of have delete, so that way the
Would it be
camera has
stable enough
increased
we
memory.
could do the interview live as well as recording it? That's actually something I didn't even think about.
By the time you get in order for you to get the relay set up, you're going to need to stop and set it up on your way out. So your ability to send something out is not going to necessarily be there. Make sense?
All right. Yeah.
All of these successes are presuming you survive long enough to get to the appropriate point.
That's fair enough.
Having said that, then, once the interview is complete with Gurier, Rabib is satisfied that she's gotten all the footage that she needs. Bella does offer the party food and bunks for the night. I assume you're going to take them up on that, or are you planning on trying to head out in the middle of the night?
Okay.
MJ
As
wanted
the
to,
driver, I do not drive at night in a place that I don't know.
so MJ had spoken with Bella about interviewing Bella as well.
Okay. What did you want to ask Bella about?
Just wanted to kind of get Bella's
Bella's
opinion on how the outside world is treating them.
Do you really want to know the answer to that question?
I believe Bella already gave the answer to that question when we spoke last time.
Sure.
This is more to get it for his backup footage.
I'm sure.
Or
She sits for you and once again reiterates her disdain for the United Nations and their failure to help the French people. She also goes on a very lengthy tirade about the police and how they behaved as no better than a street gang when this happened, and many of them worse than street gangs. She says that society is poisoned in some ways. We're lucky out here in the Blight because we don't have to deal with the corruption. A deliberate choice of words on her part.
Thank you very much for your time. And MJ's gonna, kind of do the thing that they do and, help people out who may need some minor medical care.
I would assume that throughout the course of the evening, you all exhaust whatever resources you have at your disposal to offer some sort of comfort to the folks. I will need each of you to give me a stamina plus resolve roll as you spend the night in there. Those of you who have a corruption score don't need to make this roll.
Say stamina plus survival.
Wait.
Stamina resolve.
Resolve.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it
Survival and resolve.
should be survival and stamina. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
I was in the entirely wrong universe for a second.
I was about to roll like all of my dice.
You'll have to forgive me. I just put out something for another system today, and my head was there. I apologize.
Yeah,
Should be stamina survival. Thank you.
I'd be good with stamina resolve. That would be good.
One success for Slip. He mostly goes around from person to person saying, "If you see the cloaked man."
While people are weathering the storm of this place, I would actually taking some credence from Slip. I'm gonna have Brigitte go out and scan the area, basically see if there's anything coming our way.
Sure. Go ahead and roll Brigitte's primary pool for me if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. Let's see here. Would her keen hold on, let me bring this up. Would her
Consensus?
keen hearing, sight, and smell, would
So
any of those apply to enhancement?
One enhancement from
One enhancement.
I'm wrong.
Okay. Okay, so that's going to be a total of 7 successes.
Okay. So about probably 10 kilometers south, headed back toward Bordeaux, there appeared to be a group of 6 folks, all dressed in red robes, on cobbled together makeshift sort of Mad Maxian dirt bikes that they have. These are small, like 50 to 75 cc engines. Some of them are strapped to like literal bicycles. Some of them are strapped to more substantial bodies. Some in motorcycle bodies too large for the engine, so they look a little comedic and probably don't move too fast. But that's what Brigitte spots. What you discover asking around about the red robed figure, Slip, is that it sounds like you're describing the Crimson Lepers. Or perhaps even the Crimson Saint. The Crimson Saint, according to local lore, screamed out of the sky with the Esperanza, a Valkyrie to the innumerable lives snuffed out in its impact. She crawled from devastation, a blistered and broken thing, but her recuperative abilities knitted her back together. The first survivors that came upon her were frightened, but she, instead of destroying them, healed them of their wounds. And they became the foundation for her cult. Now she wanders the wasteland, amassing followers, in the hopes that when she has enough people together, they will rush out of the blight and cleanse the rest of the world in purifying flame. So, nice lady, fun at parties.
I'd imagine she's a blast.
Sounds like making a conversation.
So, did any of you fail that stamina involved roll?
I did.
Excellent. When you wake up in the morning, you find a blister on your trunk, probably about midway between like your armpit and your waist. And the blister itself is about the size of your hand and probably lifted a quarter of an inch off of your body. If you touch it, it emits a yellowish green fluid that smells vaguely like antifreeze.
Fine. It's probably fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
It's not a super.
Joel is not going to mention it to anyone.
Awesome.
Had a feeling.
We had one of those in the party.
What zombie bite?
Wonderful. Are you doing anything else before you head out?
I mean, before we head out as a group, or before Joel heads out?
As a group, any of you. Anything else you'd like to do before you start making your way back to Bordeaux?
I'll have another private talk with Bella.
Sure.
And I'll just basically tell her that I'll tell her that Brigitte cited Crimson Lepers around this area. If she thinks it a good idea to come to our rescue and show that, you know, we can all work on the same side against true aberrants, then I leave that to her.
She says, have your cameras ready, and shouts in French, Guerrier, get in the truck. And she has a truck that looks basically got the body of like a El Camino. So if you'd imagine like a, you know, like a almost pseudo truck car. The back is open completely. Greer barely fits in. His one remaining arm, like his knuckles drag on the ground as they are driving when he doesn't raise his arm. She says, we'll escort you to the marker.
Good. I think that will do well. Yeah, I'll pop up and I'll as we're getting up, and I'll tell the group that we are to have an escort. Things might get gnarly out there.
I am going to. Is there like a medical person that I've made contact with in the camp, or a designated medical area in the camp?
There's a clinic, an operating clinic here. They don't have any scions in it. There's no Rexes here, but there's an operating clinic.
I'm going to leave my medical robot with the clinic, with the Sculpin, with the contact number for some Sculpin clinics for when the relay is up and running.
Thank you. Express how unlikely they are to use that resource, but nonetheless, thank you.
Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
It's true. You get the distinct impression that a lot of these people have a healthy distrust of the Asclepian order, and it's not, and you also get the impression it's not based in any particular incident so much as they're the nearest person to be mad at because things aren't working right. And they're in a very frustrating situation.
Yeah.
But they're very leery of promises of help from the Rexes. Sorry, the docs. I apologize. Switch edition for a second there.
There's no promise to help, but there's someone to contact in case to reach out to.
It's very kind.
Can't say if they're going to answer, but or if they're going to give you the good answer, but
that's fair.
It's slightly better than just leaving the robot itself.
Well, we appreciate any offer of help, even if it is, one we may not employ. You're very kind. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's why I've been able to keep my anger down.
Well, there's much around here to be angry about, but if we spend all our time being angry, we spend no time sowing and reaping, and everyone starves because we're mad.
Understood.
Anything else before you leave the camp?
I'm going to be ushering my siblings into the van. Which I'm sure there's a few tearful goodbyes, but we don't have time for that shit. So
Rabib tells you that there's a smuggling compartment inside the van underneath because it's a full set up news van. You're all kind of cramped in there. Some of you are probably riding on the floor, but there's a false floor in it that lifts up. And she says that's reinforced. I would recommend you put them in there at least until we get past the Crimson Lepers.
understood. Sounds like a good plan.
After Joel does his pre-inspection or pre-trip inspection stuff, making sure tires and all that are good, they're spending some time on their computer typing up some very simplistic instructions on how to get the relay up and running and connect it properly.
Okay.
Just in case they need them.
In case you're not there to finish the job.
Yeah.
That's
And
fair.
when I say simplistic, I mean it's the same kind of instructions you would write a kid on how to like make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like they are stupid simple.
Literally while you're typing, you turn to like stretch and you hear like this pop. Sounds almost like a soda can opening. And when it goes, you feel the entire side of your body, all the way down to your ankles, start to get wet.
Fun. I'm glad Fiona knows how to drive, right?
I do, actually. Yes.
Are you going to ask someone else to drive? And are you going to inform your party of your current situation? Or are you just going to not explain why you're now soaked?
Is it visible? That's what I was going to ask.
It soaks through your clothes, absolutely. You can change if you want.
Joel,
no, because
did
the
you
only thing
pee yourself up?
No, I woke up with an unfortunate complication this morning.
Oh,
You got the chest blister. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's blisters.
a good one. Is there such thing as a good blister?
No. I am
Okay.
I am being a shit.
Oh, I'm familiar with that. Okay.
You've spent all this time that we've been out here with me helping people with medical shit, and you didn't say anything.
I had to make sure everything was good to go before I worried about myself.
You want to roll Psi plus mode to look at him real quick?
Sure.
VK, right?
I am. I'm not sure if the Latrosis will provide any
The site. Well,
comfort.
your
Yeah.
basic.
Oh, yeah.
Curly and I.
Yep. So it's side plus just
Yeah,
either
Psi
of my
plus
modes?
mode. You have Psi plus your highest mode because it's a basic power, and you're at a complication of 3 because of the quantum flux zone.
All right. Does my with what we have set up was my computer? Nope. Get out there.
We don't have it for the relay. The relay is not actually set up yet.
Yeah, you're in the midst of right. You have to set the relay out on your way up. But as far as your psychic ability to detect what's wrong with them, you got no successes.
Right. I got nothing.
Did you botch?
I did not botch.
Excellent. You gain a point of momentum, and you have literally no idea. Like all you can sense around you is corruption. seems to be getting worse. You're not sure if it's the proximity of Gurrier, or if it's because Gurrier is charging up for a fight, or if it's the Crimson Lepers, or what the problem is.
All right. Gonna still collect a sample of the ooze and store it for.
As you collect it on like a regular glass card slide. Thank you. Well, I forgot what that word was for a second. As you collect on a regular glass slide, it starts to decay the slide.
What are the chances I have a corruption or something prepared to handle corrupted material, since we knowingly were going into a blight zone?
Like something like a safe thing to put it in?
A safe storage container that until we get back to, I can get this to a clinic to get analyzed.
Yeah, you're able to scrape a sample into a like a plasteel container.
All right.
It's kind of roiling about inside of it. Like you can see there's a little window on the side, and you can sort of see that it as it's in a tighter space, it becomes more agitated. Like its own presence is making itself suffer.
Well, that is just a delightful slip. You don't want to look at this. That
Too
is
late.
just a
Too late.
delightful
It's awful.
possibility.
We're all quite doomed. Wherever the Crimson Saint goes, she leaves bits of herself. She's everywhere. She's in her clothes, in her nostrils, in her lungs.
You get used to it.
Is this conversation happening mid-drive?
Sure.
All right. As you make it at about the 10-kilometer mark or so, I would like you all to go ahead and give me a roll relying on integrity, larceny, or survival. You will each have an enhancement of 3 on this roll because you know what you're looking for.
What's the attribute?
Whatever you would feel would be best to rely on for noticing something.
I'm thinking it's a long drive, so to kind of stay alert throughout the long drive, stamina.
Okay.
I was going to make the same argument for resolve.
Sure.
Okay.
We add 3 to our roll.
As long as you get a success, you add 3.
Okay. I got 4 successes with the enhancement then.
Excellent.
I got 7 with the enhancement.
Beautiful.
6.
5.
Excellent.
I got 5 on it.
And
0.
0 for Cherry, and for Fiona.
4.
All right. So overall, you all got not only enough to beat the difficulty, but several enhancement. So you determine the following as they're starting to make their way up to you. There are a total number of bikers equal to the number of you plus 2. So that would be 2, 4, 6, 8 of them.
Sweet.
The bikers' bodies are covered with irregular tumorous masses, and they all of them have, though they have various different types of red robes and red coverings on. Le Blessure is not a nice environment. Many of them are in head wraps and face wraps and gas masks and things of that nature. But their eyes are all completely unblocked, leaving enough for you to see clearly the streaks of red weeping from their eyes, running down their cheeks. They're crying blood.
Lovely.
I'll give you something to cry about.
I am going to just like without looking, just hand my laser carbine to Joel. If he doesn't have a weapon. Do you have a weapon?
I have a laser carbine myself.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
And he just
it's
learned
a
how to use it.
suitcase? Mine's fancy. It turns into a suitcase. See? Chink.
Ooh.
Well, then I guess the only thing that's left to do at this point is roll some initiative. What do you say?
Oh,
That beautiful bean footage.
Yeah.
Slip releases a battle cry of "We're doomed."
You may have
Thank
another point of
you,
momentum.
Slip.
I just realized he's basically psychic C3PO.
Yes, he really is.
Um,
How do we roll initiative again?
You will take the lowest of your dexterity plus integrity or empathy plus cunning.
the lowest.
The lowest.
And it was
Oh.
Dex plus what?
Empathy?
The
Dex.
dexterity?
Yeah.
It was
Dex and empathy or integrity cunning, right?
Okay.
either way, it's going to be cunning.
Yeah,
my
mine
attribute.
ironically are both
So
the same roll.
One.
I have a skill or a gift or whatever that I'm just trying to find it. Sorry.
Sure, no problem. Is the one that gives you scale when you roll initiative?
I think it gives me enhancements.
Do you remember? So what gifts do you have?
Hold on. I have, or maybe it's an edge. Would that make more sense? I have hair trigger reflexes.
Hair trigger reflexes will give you an enhancement.
Okay. Just one?
Hair trigger gives you 1 second. 1 enhancement when rolling initiative. Yep.
Okay. So I got one success.
Excellent.
Or that's how we measure it, right?
Yep, you count by successes.
Okay.
All right. Did anyone get more than 3 successes?
I got 3 exactly.
Same.
and Brigitte got 1.
I got 1.
How many for
4
for
for
Joel?
Slip.
And 4 for Slip?
Mhm.
How many for Joel?
3.
And how many for MJ?
nope.
0? Okay. Excellent. So the first slot of initiative will go to Slip. What would you like to do? These bikes are pulling up behind you. Right now, Bella and Guria are keeping pace with the van. They're not going to open fire unless you tell them to. And by you, I mean any of you.
Oh, okay. Slips hit a point where he's more scared of the thing coming at him than he is of his side talent. So he's going to dig deep and use his 4-point mode ability, favorable outcome.
Oh, wonderful.
He's going to spend 3 side points and look into immediate possible futures for the best weighted. Or wait, yeah, that's what he's going to use.
Excellent. So you spend 3 psi and you will roll your psi plus mode. You're going to be at a complication of 3 because of the quantum flux zone.
Okay.
I have a very creative idea for my turn.
6 successes.
Excellent. So you resolve the complication and you have 3 re-rolls plus your mode dots. So how many dots in that mode do you have?
4.
So you have 7 re-rolls you can make this scene.
Okay.
You can retry re-rolls and re-roll a successful roll in the hope of generating more successes.
Cool.
In all cases, you choose which version of the roll to use, and you can spend additional re-rolls on one task until you either get a result you like or exhaust your pool.
Sounds good. Yeah. Slip's eyes just go white and he just starts he's saying things that don't make sense now because they happen a little bit in the future. Just and he is just That's
Pothole.
replaced.
What?
His word, yeah. His word too is replaced with gibberish, which is probably better.
Excellent. So Slip is in good shape. Would Slip like to give the next initiative to any of the stack of threes on your side or to the villains?
Who's in the threes on our side?
Yep. So we got we got
Joel and
Joel, Henri. Nobody else had a three? I thought I had one more three on your side.
I'll throw it over to Henri.
So they are coming up behind us.
Yes, they're coming up three on a side, trying to sort of like almost in like a flying V formation toward you.
Okay. I will. Can I have Brigitte go instead of me for this slot?
You absolutely can. Yeah, you can swap
Cool.
your
Yeah,
slots around.
I'm gonna have Brigitte take this one. Okay, so she is going to swoop down from the sky, just like unhinging her beak and allowing just like these bomblets of like corrupted bones just drip down as she strafes down on them. So I'm going to be targeting the sort of the one in the center.
Okay.
So she does have spread, so they are at -2 defense.
Excellent.
And anyone in close range to her needs to make an athletics roll, or they take the same effect. And I have generated a total of 7 successes on this attack.
So you drop 2 of them. Are you going to pick passenger or driver's side?
Let's go
So there's
driver's
8.
side.
So they're columns of 4 and 4. So you're dropping
Sure.
2 on the driver's side.
Yeah, driver's side.
All right. Excellent. 2 of them, as they're pelted by these bits of corrupted bone, like you see where they're hitting like the pustules, because these lepers are just covered in like boils and sort of growths. So you see where these corrupted bones pierce through the boils and growths. It causes remarkable pressurized explosions as these people are taken out. Like pus and blood shooting about 20 feet into the air in every direction.
Mon petit beauty, I love you so much, Brigitte.
Wonderful. And would Brigitte like to hand that off to Joel, or are we handing it off to them?
Absolutely, she'll hand it off to Joel.
Excellent.
so
Joel,
you said Gurrier and Bella and a couple of the guys from the.
It's just Gurrier and Bella.
It's
They're
just
driving.
Gurrier and Bella.
Yep, and they're driving on your passenger side right now, and they're holding until somebody from that van tells them to do something, because Bella does not want to scare anyone when Gurrier fires his blast.
Also, yeah, also like look to we're recording this, right?
Yes. Oh, very much so.
Yeah, every camera in the van is on. There's cameras sticking out windows. And
MJ's got
going.
one of MJ's spider arms has a camera in it, just behind, just like slightly behind his head, and it's like it's got Steadicam, so it's kind of like moving with him, so that it, gets a good shot the whole time.
Do I have a direct line of contact with Gurrier?
I mean, you could roll down a window and shout at him. You're
okay. I didn't
next
know
to one
if we
another,
had-
like on a highway. So imagine, he's in this open, pickup truck, effectively.
Yeah.
Right next to you. So I mean, you just roll down the window and be like, and shoot.
So can I use scathing insult to make Gurrier pissed at them? Because it doesn't specify that it makes their attitude change towards you. It just changes their attitude.
I might be a little bit dubious of this, but Gurrier is a relatively simple individual. So what I would allow you to probably do is like say I heard these people said this about you or about Bella.
Yeah, basically what he was going to say is, shouting out the window, "Hey, Gurrier, I heard they called you weak and stupid."
Okay. And what does that do?
So I spend an inspiration and talk to a target, and their attitude immediately changes to furious.
Okay. You're 100% sure that's the call you want to make here.
Yeah,
The
fuck
Aberrant.
it.
All right, cool.
Joel, in the back of his head, because he doesn't know very much about this corruption pustule thing on him, he's half convinced he's going to die anyway, so he might as well get a good show before he goes.
All right, Gurrier is going to let go of a quantum blast at the 4 that are on the passenger seat. He's going to just go for the first one with a straight up blast.
In a very angry tone.
So that's 5 successes, 2 over their defense. The first one, you just see this guy on probably one of the biggest and hardiest looking bikes out of this whole gang. He's got a submachine gun mounted on his handlebars. Really looks like a tough customer. And then you just see the rear wheel roll to a smoking stop as Gurrier lets a blast of pure quantum energy out, vaporizing the poor sub-aberrant mutant. That brings us to the villains.
Dun, dun, dun.
As they close in, everyone on that side is going to attack Gurrier because clearly he is the biggest threat. So that leaves you the 2 on the passenger or on the driver's side to contend with. Make sense?
Yep.
I don't really have anything else I can use in a fight, so I had to get creative.
So they're going to start trying to ram the side of your van, and they're shouting in broken French demands for you to interview their savior, interview their Messiah. And they're just ramming, both of them are ramming into the vehicle.
Joel is just making mental notes to make sure MJ and whoever else is editing the video cuts out the audio in this part.
Who's driving?
I think I am.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you go ahead and give me a piloting roll then, please? Unless you want to just let them ram into the car.
Nah, I will try to avoid it. Just pilot and
Whatever you'd like to rely on.
okay.
I would suggest dexterity or cunning, probably.
Okay. Cunning then, I guess. So pilot and cunning. I got 1.
All right, you're going to have a complication of 1 on this roll, funnily enough. So you can choose to succeed still with the cost. You will succeed in not taking any damage, but you're going to be blinded. Or you can just take the damage.
I will succeed with the complication.
All right. You manage to sort of meet them as they're trying to ram you. The first one that you hit with the bike, it does no damage really to you or to the bike. However, the second biker who was trying to ram you got a little too zealous on the gas and comes around in front of you and like tries to skid to a stop to act as like a roadblock for you. And even if you had wanted to notice in time, you just couldn't. So as you're, making that choice of, do I hit the brake and try to hope that it goes best for me, or do I just hit the gas and try to be merciful about this? Like, as you're making that decision, you just see this sub-aberrant mutant explode on your windshield.
Okay. Yeah.
Thick, viscous bodily fluids that are a bit too challenging for your windshield wipers this round. So you're going to effectively be blinded trying to drive the vehicle until the end of your next turn.
Okay.
So you have a complication of 2 because of that.
Do we have like windows on the side that are closed
You
or
do have
open?
windows on the
or...
side that roll up and down. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would
and was
like to hope
anyone
that
shooting out?
Joel got his rolled up before that happened. But
His was on
Yeah.
the other side of the vehicle, so that's probably not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has actively rolled down a window and shot anything yet. Somebody's rolled down a window and yelled out of it, but nobody's shot anything yet.
Right. Okay.
Let me just see how these others do against Gourier. Yes, that's 1. While I'm figuring that out, who is next on your turn? That would be who is not yet gone. It's all 1s now.
Me.
What would you like to do?
Cherry?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, she's gonna scream out the window that I've had enough. And then she's gonna go jump onto like one of their vans, or is it a motorcycle V, or is it a van next to us?
It's well, the motorcycles are what's pulling up against you.
Okay. I'm gonna go like try to kick one off their motorcycle with my knife foot.
Excellent. You see 3 of them or 2 of them that are on the passenger side, like fire blasts out at Gourier, and these blasts have of like looks like almost a liquidy excretion flying through the air more than it does like a blast of energy. And 2 of them hit Gourier to no effect. The third one lands right in the part of his skull that's a little bit caved in from the Esperanza accident. And he lets out a yelp in pain when that happens. So is there one of those in particular that you would like to target?
The one that hit our Aberrant guy.
All right, excellent. So what? Go ahead and give me that close combat. What are you relying on for your trait, for your attribute?
I got might or
right.
dexterity, I guess.
Yeah, give me might and close combat.
All right. Let's do this. And then as she's about to jump, she's going to say, I'll give you something to cry about.
Excellent. You may have an extra momentum.
All right, that's 10 dice. Wow. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 2 10s, so I get to re-roll.
Oh, wow.
Another 10.
Re-roll that one.
Nice.
Roll a 9, so another success.
So you fling open the side door, jump out in like this unnecessary John Woo Mission Impossible like cartwheel kick, planting your blade right into the temple and out of the opposing temple of the Crimson Leper. His eyes fall forward, the optic nerve severed, as you kick his corpse off of your foot and still manage to land on the bike without spilling it.
All right. I'm going to cut them off.
All right, excellent. We'll get back to your next action momentarily.
Okay.
We have one more remaining one. Is that correct?
No, I think we have 2. Yeah.
Who are the 2 remaining ones?
My proper turn and Fiona's turn. I'll go last since I had a bird do a thing.
Oh, and MJ hasn't had a turn.
Oh, MJ.
Yeah,
Okay.
MJ, you're on a 1
I'm
as well,
last.
right?
I'm last. I got.
Oh, you're on
I got-
0. That's
yeah.
right. Right. So of our 2 remaining ones, now Fiona's already made that drive check, so that's pretty much going to be Fiona's turn.
Okay.
If you want to take your next turn at a penalty, I'll let you make an extra action, basically. So you divide this with whatever you're going to do with your next turn as well. If you know what your plan is going to be for next turn. Otherwise,
How,
you can just
how
let it
close
go
are
by.
they? So the one that exploded right in front of us, he's done.
Right. So the one in the
Um,
driver's seat is like right next to you, like close enough that you could roll down the window and probably punch him in his face.
I'm gonna do that.
The ones on the other side are lagging behind. All right, so you're going to have to decide between your roll to keep the vehicle moving and your roll to attack. What's the lower of those two dice pools?
Okay, so my role to keep the vehicle moving, we did pilot and cunning, right?
Right,
Mhm.
and your attack roll is what?
Close combat, and I could do might, close combat might.
What's the lower of those two pools?
This first one, the pilot one.
Roll that pool. You're going to need to divide successes between not running off the road and hitting this guy in the face. I would remind you have a complication of 2 because you're blinded
Okay.
effectively for the car.
The complication, does that take this away, or do I just factor that into the?
That means if you
success?
don't buy that off, it could create some problems for you with moving
Okay.
forward in a
All right.
desired fashion.
You don't overcome the fact that you can't see out the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we do have a butt ton of momentum.
Yeah, so
Right.
you can spend momentum to re-roll failed dice if the need arises.
Oops. As I throw my dice. So I got 3 successes.
Excellent.
And what was the difficulty again?
So, it was difficulty 1, but you had complication of 2. So you could spend the 2 to resolve the you can basically keep the car on the road just fine and get 1 success towards punching.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to, if you have any weapons that would give you enhancement, that might be handy. Otherwise, you can spend momentum for additional dice because that 1 success is not going to get past his defense.
Okay. I do have a
Alternatively, you could ignore the complication and knock him off the bike. You're just going to have a problem because you're driving blindly.
I could since it's close combat, do I have to use a melee weapon, or could I use I could use my pistol, or I could use my knife.
You could use your pistol, let you use pistol whip him.
Okay, yeah. I'd love to do that.
What's the
Pistol thing's
enhancement on
fun.
what's the enhancement on your pistol?
I forgot what we said. 2, 3. The 3
2.
was
Okay.
2. Okay.
Yep. So that is sufficient to get past his defense. You're not going to deal any damage to him, but dealing damage to him's not necessarily. Sorry to the sound department there. Dealing damage to him is not necessarily the end game. The end game is getting him off this bike, which you do magnificently. As you reach out and deck him, and he just falls off the bike and just keeps rolling.
Awesome. That's what I wanted to do. Okay.
Rolls out of the shot. He's gone. So we have now eliminated everyone on the driver's side, and there are 2 folks left on the passenger side. That brings us to the end. Or no, that brings us to Henri.
So Henri's going to, first of all, the player would like to use 2 corruption to do some dramatic editing.
Excellent. What would you like to do?
I would like to make it so there is a sheer drop off on that side of the road, like just on the shoulder coming. So basically, when we come up to it, they will be right there. And then I would like to basically open the door and like slip off my right hand glove, which when I do so, everyone can see that it is like pulsing with this oil slick energy. And I'm just going to like palm strike one of them off the ravine.
Excellent.
Issuing a string of profanity that would violate Twitch terms of service. But because it's in French, it sounds like poetry.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. I am a fan of it.
Canadian French.
Let's have that close combat check.
Sure. That would be 6 successes.
Okay.
Which I do have. I have the poison tag, so it does an additional health level of damage just by making contact, and I have the brutal tag. So if that's enough to crit him, I'll do that as well.
You can absolutely crit, and you're able to deal him 2 health levels of damage, but the sudden stop at the end of his tumble down that ravine will take care of the remainder of his health. So we have 1 villain left and 1 person left with an action. What would you like to do, MJ?
So this is on the passenger side. Is this one also within what kind of distance?
This one's the furthest back. They're just behind. They're basically just behind Cherry now. So Cherry's on a bike. In fact, with the amount of successes you got on this, Cherry, if you wanted to land on the bike backwards, you can be riding that bike backwards. So you're still facing the person.
Oh yeah, let's
Behind
stare him down.
And so Cherry's riding a motorcycle backwards with like claws sticking out of her hands and feet. Gurrier is just holding on for dear life right now as you're going next to this ravine and shouting, Mama, please watch the corners in French. And yeah, that's what you've got in front of you. So you're probably, you're probably 15 meters from the nearest, or from the remaining villain.
What about the back of the van? Does that?
It opens.
Oh, so if the villain from the passenger side is about 15 meters away, does coming out of the back of the van shorten that to, say, 6 meters?
If it's very important for you to be within 6 meters of them, I'm okay with it.
I would like to use the spider harness with its reachability to wrap them like a whip, wrap around and pull them off.
I'll allow it, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a complication to do this. What you're going to need to do is, because that spider harness has 2 arms, goes both ways, you're going to need to leap out of the back of the van, catch the top of the van with the spider harness with the 1 arm, and reach out and grab them with the furthest arm.
Okay.
So this is going to be an athletics-based attack.
All right.
Right? And it's going to be a complication of 2. Either of those complications don't get resolved, that's one thing you fail to grab.
All right.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Let's do it.
We going with dexterity or?
Up to you.
Stamina to be able to withstand the force of the.
Sure, you're doing like like that scene where Captain America is like holding on to the like helicopter. You're kind of trying that. With
I'm thinking more Spider-Man with 1 web in each hand.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Same end of effect. What was the total I needed?
So you had 2 complications.
2 complications, 2 enhancements from Spider Spine, 4 successes.
Awesome. What would you like to do when you wrap that around him? You just trying to grapple? Or are you pulling him off the bike or what?
Yeah, I'm going to pull him off the bike.
All right. So you're moving along the French countryside at an unreasonable pace for the terrain. And as you swing out and grab this, Cherry, you have the perfect point of view because you're facing backwards on the bike.
Okay.
You see him just pluck this dude by like palm his head like a basketball with a spider harness and just lift and then drop.
She'll creep a slow smile as he like plummets to his death.
And as he hits the ground, he pops like, imagine if you dropped a Capri Sun off of the roof of like the Empire State Building. It just
It's always a Capri Sun. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's true. And that is the end of this combat sequence. All of your enemies seem to have been taken out. Is there anything else that you would like to do before we call it an end to the scene? Especially those
Stop
of you
and
who
get
have
Sherry back in the van.
a whole bunch of successes banked or rerolls banked. Slip. Anything you want to try?
Sherry will keep the motorcycle and just ride alongside.
Yeah, you as you go to like make room for Cherry to get back in the van, you see her just like her head turns around first, and then like her whole body flips back, and she gets onto the bike the right way.
That's sick.
Ow.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much to do for Slip for those re-rolls.
I mean, if you wanted to, like, you have 7 shots to make something happen here. So if you
Mhm.
wanted to like pull a shortcut, if you wanted to, this could be anything. If you wanted to try to figure out some missing piece of this story that you're missing, anything you want to do, you've got seven shots at a roll for the rest of the scene. So may as well burn through them.
Does our aberrant friend need healing?
Nah, it's stitching itself back together already.
All right.
Yeah, either he could try and give guidance to the driver to get a shortcut or a safer path, past any other dangers, or piece something together in the mystery that we have not pieced together yet.
All right, well, let's start first with the mystery situation. Why don't you go ahead and give me an enigmas and whatever you'd like to rely on roll, just to see if there's any missing clues from the overall story that you can put together.
Let's go with intellect.
Sure.
And let's see, I've got enigmas. I got enigmas 3. And I think I might have a skill trick for that. Scientific method. Add science dice to enigma rolls if mathematics or logic are all involved.
Excellent. You may do so.
All right. This is a big pool.
This does require the expenditure of a momentum. Is everyone okay with that? All right, cool.
For record keeping purposes, where are we at with momentum?
We had a lot. We had I want to say 10 last time, and we used a couple, but then we've gotten 2 or 3 this time. So I'd say we're probably right about there.
I think you're at 7 right now.
That's 4 successes, but this is a big die pool, and I think I can do better. So I will use one of my.
Give it a shot.
Out of character knowledge, because me, the player, doesn't know this. Is the corruption something that will prevent Joel from going through a checkpoint for the medical checkpoint to get out of?
It could prove a problem if they deem you to have a contagious corruption disease. Yes.
6 successes.
All right. You want to try for a better result, or you want to stay on that?
I'll try one more. Let's see.
All right.
No, that was 3 successes. So 6 was my best.
Excellent. Well, since you got 6 successes, I'm going to clue you into a few things that you sort of pull out of the ether of reasoning as you're just going over your mind, trying to see what have I missed? What am I wrong about? What have I not covered? You realize that your father's contingency plan, you remember that he had said that he can get you out. There's a number you can call. That he can send an extraction team in case of an emergency. Otherwise, that team is going to meet you when you leave La Blessure. You remember a little factoid that he dropped as he was explaining this to you that suddenly seems infinitely important. A warning, a danger sign. You remember he tells you that the assistance he got was from a friend of his that he plays squash with on Luna. and occasionally hits the nightclubs with. Woman by the name of Ella Huang. She's a doctor of sorts, and one of the sort of founding members of this new upstart biotechnics company called Huangmar Biotechnics. She's a notorious party animal, known all over the social feeds for such antics as showing up at bars in Olympus and buying the bar for the night, paying ridiculous amounts of money at auction for various bang records, only to have the artists become angry that she's bought them and try to buy them back or sue her. Basically, she's just kind of generally regarded as sort of like a tone-deaf, monstrous, almost borderline abusive med tech magnate. Sorry. And you get a distinct feeling that there's a dark spot in the totality around that person. Like a black hole that sucks in all hope. And that's who you're going to be getting some help from.
Slip out loud narrates that entire epiphany as it reaches his adrenaline spiked brain. And he leans in particularly dramatically on the black hole analogy.
Henri will kind of squint his eyes at that and says, is this the woman who is helping my siblings get out?
This wasn't the part of the plan. We were going to get them out through the Esculpin clinics.
Ah, okay, good. Because that might be a problem. But if it's not this woman, then okay. I mean, you should probably not get help from that person. You should probably find something else.
I'll give it to you with the amount of rolls or amount of successes you got on that roll. Slip, you feel like the totality is pushing you toward that. Like that outcome. Something is wrong with the meeting with the docs. You're almost sure of it.
Okay. Yeah, Slip says that there's something wrong with the meeting at the docks, and we are moving towards that. We are moving towards her orbit.
Henri is not happy. This was not
Joel gets a very
the
dark
deal.
look on his face.
This we no, I do not wish to put my siblings in danger. And like he still has his like oil slick burning hand out and it's like clenched.
Rabib says, I trust the visions of clairsentience, don't get me wrong, but we are in the middle of one of the worst blight zones on the planet. Is it possible that you're misconstruing some of your visions?
Possibly, but this seems very clear.
Did your father plan involve getting all of us out or just involve getting you out?
I mean, I assume he wants the whole team, but I think my father's a terrible person who knows a whole pantheon of terrible people, and
He's rich, right?
he's probably more aimed at getting me out. And even if he didn't, I don't think it would ruin his plans for, say, tomorrow.
Sounds like a lovely man.
Yes, my family is a menagerie of monsters.
Well, Either way, I will not be putting my siblings at risk, and they will be getting out. However that happens is what it happens.
The babe says, can you tell what the intersection point is, what the problem is, why we can't get out the way we planned?
Can I?
That would require a separate psi roll. Do you have any psi points left?
I do, in fact. I
Why
have
don't you-
6 points left.
I have a sneaking suspicion on what it is, but
You have 6 side points left?
I had 10. I used one for, what was the first thing I did? That was the
setting up
Right.
the relay.
least resistance. And
I
then
thought you used, okay, I thought that was
And then
4
3.
points. Yeah.
and then
for the-
three for favorable outcome.
let's do. You've got. You can try for another favorable outcome roll, which would
Mhm.
cost an additional 3 psi points and increase the difficulty by 1.
Okay.
That's probably your best bet right now, which would allow you to
I will do that.
suss out kind of what's going on. I'm letting you sort of brute force some precognition out of this.
Yeah. Little nosebleed.
Yeah, you'll be at a +1 difficulty and a complication of 3 because of the quantum flux zone.
Ooh, I am gonna reroll that.
Yeah, don't you love that you can reroll on the reroll?
That's 3 successes, but I can do better. Let me make sure I'm keeping track of this right. Let's see, I used another one there, and I will use yet another one. That leaves me 3 rerolls left. 1. Ah. 2 rerolls left. Jesus. 1 reroll left. Fuck it. Using the last one on this.
You could also spend momentum if this doesn't go well, if this doesn't go your way.
Well, and momentum is just re-rolling the failures, right? It's not the whole roll.
Right.
Oh,
So if you want to take the best result and then spend momentum to reroll,
best result was 3 successes.
all right. So then you would take any dice from that pool that weren't a success
Mhm.
up to, and you can spend momentum up to that number of dice to reroll, as long as everybody's okay with it.
Well, there's up to 6 for that, but we don't have to use all of that.
I mean, you have 6 momentum in the pool right now. You want to burn them?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, do it.
All
Mm.
right, here we go. 5 successes.
Excellent. I will reveal the results of that after a quick break. We're going to go ahead and take 5 for biological and technological needs. If you're watching us live, hang out. We'll be right back. welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking through the break with us. Just before the break, we had resolved a die roll. What was your ultimate successes on that roll?
That was 5 successes.
Excellent. So with 5 successes, that's enough to overcome your complication and the difficulty. And it's enough for you to recognize that, there's a source of corruption in this vehicle that was unaccounted for in your plan to get out. So the only way everyone in this van is getting out is if you call on your father's help. Unfortunately, you didn't get enough successes to get a whole lot of insight beyond that.
Does Slip tell everyone this?
Yes, he does.
Okay, this is not as big of a problem as you may think. I never intended to leave the shore. We have 3 pieces of paperwork. Some jiggery pokery can happen, and you can take my place.
I don't have the technology here to be able to amend the paperwork is the problem.
Don't you? There are talents on this place that could correct that. Just throwing that out there. In case you're unaware, one of the things that you can do as talents is you can use dramatic editing. And the way dramatic editing works is you spend points of inspiration to gain certain benefits to your environment. You change the world around you. You say, and it doesn't necessarily change it so much as it makes it so that it has always been that way. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, the paperwork didn't have your name on it.
It doesn't have names, but it does have a vague physical description, characteristics, things such as that. I am not a tall Frenchman. I am tiny twig. The only way I'm going to be getting out of here is probably in a body bag, unless we take the option that no one wants to take.
I don't know. Maybe we should check the paperwork again.
If you would like to make a change in dramatic editing, you can get a single advantage retroactive change. In this case, you're going to want an advantage that goes into a new scene, so that's going to cost 2 inspiration. If any of the talents aboard can spend 2 inspiration for dramatic editing, you can certainly have the equipment on hand to amend the paperwork. Would anyone like to make that expenditure? You're muted, Cherry.
Yeah, I'm technically not on board, so
It doesn't mean you can't. That absolutely doesn't matter.
You
You're in the scene. As far as dramatic editing goes, your character's not actually doing anything consciously. You're just recognizing there's a problem and altering reality to meet your solution. It doesn't require you to be aware of what's going on. It's a meta level thing. So you as a player are saying it's a more beneficial reality to us to have that equipment with us and spending 2 inspiration to make it happen. That's how dramatic editing works.
You're also a cyborg who could have ripped off her ear and left it in the van to still be able
to
you could communicate.
You could pull a little thing off your finger and go, oh, don't worry, I can alter it with I can alter the paperwork and plug into the tablet they're carrying.
Windows Vista at it again. You're
it's not like I don't have the inspiration to spend it myself. I was just of the opinion, if someone else wants to save Joel, I will let them. But Joel, now realizing this, is very much in the mindset of, I'm going to go get in the car with Bella and Gurrier and go back to the camp.
I mean, if that's what you're happy with and everybody else is happy to permit you to do that, there's no, then I have no objections to the story guide for that.
I just
He,
don't
he
know how
has
to help
other
you.
things he
Sorry.
would still like to do here. He has a long-term aspiration of getting the camp working with the medical camp. My brain's kind of
The Escopians.
yeah, them. He kind of wants to get the war camp and them working together in some capacity. Like he has stuff he can do here, even if it's going to be a harsh reality for him.
Well, good luck with that. If you want to hop over into
Not the Scopins, but the camp we met.
The witnesses.
oh right, okay.
witnesses.
Yeah, the healer camp we first came across.
Oh, the Tamrika K camp. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Even better. Yeah, if no one has any objection, I mean, Rabib says, I'll be sad to let you go, but, we can stay in touch. And now, thanks to this relay.
Yeah, and he takes the second. He's going to take his computer with him, but he takes a second to shoot the instructions for what needs to be done on the other side. He shoots an email to MJ and Raviv and everyone he can think of that would be able to to finish setting it up on their side so we can have that communication and actually take advantage of that. And then he's gonna deuces out to the El Camino with Gurrier and Bella.
Awesome. Does anyone have any objection or any final thing they want to say to Joel before he parts ways with the rest of the party?
From several feet away, Slip says, I would pat you on the back or something, but I'm afraid of your blister.
I'm afraid of it too.
I'm gonna pat him on the back. I'm just gonna do it and go over.
When you pat him on the back, you hear sound like if you drop a water balloon on cement and it doesn't break.
Oh, sorry.
It is very uncomfortable, but
Sorry, Joel.
I'll survive, I guess.
Yeah, Henri will kind of go over to him and say, you are signing up for a life of hell, yes?
Yes, but
this is a realm of nightmares and sickness.
Yes, and you and your family have seen enough of it. You deserve a break.
And Brigitte comes and lands on my shoulder, and her eyelids kind of nictate a couple of times, and terrible green ooze comes out from them, and she's just really looking very intently at your blister, she really wants to get at it, but I'm like, no, he's okay, he's fine. And he says, I am, and he still has his hand up, and he says, I am a monster now. I will not endanger my brother and my sister by them being around me. If they have a chance to live in a clean world away from this sickness, I am going to give that to them.
And I want to give you that.
This place changes people forever. You have a chance.
He says, lifting up his shirt, revealing the blisters.
As you lift up your shirt, the skin grabs the shirt and the blister just peels upward. And when you lift it open, about a gallon of fluid just sloughs off down the side and just hits the ground all at once. It's like somebody dropped a bucket of cottage cheese on the floor of the van.
I want to try something. It's a little meta.
Please tell me it's not cottage cheese.
No, it's not cottage cheese. I don't know if this would work, but if I can spend the remainder of my corruption to essentially convert him over to a mutant so that he's not entirely suffering this and he has his own power that bolsters this.
I mean, here's the deal. This is what you're suffering right now would qualify as an exposure to flux. So if that's the direction that you would want to take. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you a talent?
Yes.
Joel? So what it would really take at this point, normally, under the normal run of things, talents are effectively immune to becoming sub-aberrant mutants. However, I'm a big fan of letting players do what sounds cool. So if that is the route that Joel wishes to take, if Joel and Henri both spend their remaining points of inspiration and or corruption for a dramatic edit, we could allow this to effectively shift your template over to a corrupted template.
I'll do it.
Excellent. So this is basically just a major act of dramatic editing. You've had this potential to be a sub-aberrant mutant the whole time. Now it's just manifesting itself.
In the form of gross blisters that smell like antifreeze.
Right. But eventually we'll grant you some grand power. After some discussion, you decide to part ways. Those of you who are staying in the Blight hop into Bella's car with Courier. Yes, Cherry.
Can I say something to Joel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cherry will approach Joel and say, "You're too soft for the Blight Zone. You'll never survive." And then go to the rest of the group.
I survived the hell that was my upbringing. I will find a way. That is where my strengths lie.
She'll turn back and be like, "I hope so. I kind of liked you." Continue on.
So how do you intend to get Cherry out of the Blight?
I thought they were one of the people we had medical paperwork for.
You have medical clearance for 3 people.
Oh.
That would be Henri and Henri's brothers. You had no intention of bringing Cherry out of the Blight initially. Oh, sorry. Again, I keep hitting this microphone. I apologize. I have a new mic. I keep bumping into it. My deepest apologies.
Cherry doesn't care if she stays or goes. She knows she's kind of screwed either way.
Well, if Cherry wants to stay, Cherry can hop in the vehicle with the others and head back to the war gang.
All right. I guess she'll turn around again and be like, "I am the reason you will survive." Go with Joel.
Aw.
It's violently touching.
Very adamant, you know.
the real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Henri looks over at the van, realizes that his brother and sister are still in the smuggling compartment, and like realizes that he doesn't have to feel the pain of saying goodbye to them if they just stay there. And
so he's just gonna dip without saying goodbye.
Yeah.
What a monster! What a monster!
They'll live a better life. It's better if they forget me.
Beautiful. I love it. All right. So you all take off into the sunset while the remainder of you make your way to the security checkpoint. Your security paperwork, as we established in session 1, is sufficient to get you out and get the children into the care of the Asclepian Order. The expose runs on Bad News Playground and starts the beginnings of a political movement to try to generate some sort of equitable and improved relief for the French Blight survivors. Does anybody have any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns before we wrap things up for this session?
I was about to say, imagine if Cherry just picked up one of the children and like chucked them and then took a seat in the van.
Oh, that would be initiative. We would have to.
That would probably end in a fight.
Oh shoot! I forgot.
Mutant versus cyborg, all the way.
Did any of you complete your short-term aspirations?
Not really.
What did you have down, Cherry?
Oh wait, I kind of did.
What was
She had a different emotion other than anger. She has an emotion to protect.
Then you may take a point for completing a short-term aspiration.
Hell yeah.
Did Henri complete a short-term aspiration?
Yes, he did. He punched an aberrant in combat.
Excellent. You may take a point.
I did complete one. I kind of completed two. Because my second one was get Sherry to let me help her.
That's two. So go ahead and
Yeah,
mark
because
down
the first
two.
one was the increased level of outside communication.
Right, which you absolutely did. How about Slip?
Slip wanted to show off some impressive power to the group. Kind of impress them. I don't know if
I think the sudden warning out of nowhere that of a plot that most people in the Trinity Continuum are utterly unaware of.
yeah.
I think that counts.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Excellent.
What was your other short term?
Convince his father to help these unfortunate people and perhaps hug one. He has not hugged anyone. But,
You did convince your father to help. You just didn't take the help.
That's true.
So I'll allow it.
Okay.
Fiona, any short-term aspirations?
No, I'm just a, stabby, same.
What did you have down for your aspirations?
I had use nice constructively. I don't think I even used my knife this session, and use heavy weapon.
Your vehicle. I'll allow you using your vehicle as a weapon to count.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's the ultimate heavy weapon, right?
Indeed.
Right. It's 2 tons of murder.
Mm-hmm.
And then what about MJ?
Get B-roll on life at camp and improve relations with the Shulkin clinics.
I would say you at least did one of those things. You definitely got some B-roll. So that would also mean that in addition to those, everyone gets an additional point for all players achieving a short-term aspiration.
Nice.
Did anyone achieve a long-term aspiration?
I did.
You
I
did.
got my family out.
You may take 2 points. Anyone else?
Bella, the interview with Bella for her to talk shit on authority, saying how the United Nations.
Yeah, that was a long-term
shitty.
aspiration.
That was a long-term aspiration, was to get the Aberrant to talk shit on authority. And so it is a stretch to say Bella, who is the.
I mean, the Aberrant talked shit about authority too, so don't feel bad about that. You may take the long-term aspiration point.
And just as a fun bonus, when Slip was blabbering about the vision and the big plot conspiracy, MJ may have got that on camera.
Nice, love it. And you did all. And were there any other long-term aspirations?
Jerry?
Yes.
Not anything to do with aspirations, but I thought of a cool blooper reel that we could have.
Oh, what was that?
To the movie, where everyone tries to throw Cherry and they break their wrists because she's weighs a ton and she's half metal.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. Everyone taking their shot at picking her up, the scene where everybody's trying to lift Mjolnir in Avengers.
Yeah, I thought that too. That's funny.
And you all get 1 point for spending half or more of the available momentum in the scene.
Hey.
I
yes,
might have done my long-term. So I was thinking about it, and my long-term aspiration was be able to walk away from a fight. And I kind of feel like maybe I did that the first time we saw the Crimson.
I agree.
They were, the Crimson Lepers.
I agree wholeheartedly. You may have the 2 XP for that.
Thank you.
Awesome. And that's where we will wrap up our adventure, this adventure of Bad News Playground. Who knows? I had a grand time, and I hope that everyone here did as well. Maybe someday we will revisit the bunch and see what's going on. But for now, this is a do. So
we get to see the upgraded Cherry after Joel takes his computer and integrates it with her.
The Windows 10 version.
Yes. Cherry 6,000.
Cherry 6,000. Over 5,000.
Cherry Pie.
Yes. No. As in the 3.14 version. I love it.
Open source.
So I guess as we're about to head out, let's have everyone one last time tell us who you are, what you do, your pronouns, who you're playing, their pronouns, anything you would care to promote. This time, let's start it off with MJ. Please give us your pertinence.
Hello, I am Zachary Naldrat, he, him. I have been playing MJ tonight. I can be found on the Bird app at Zach Rules. It's below me down there somewhere. I am a TTRPG freelance and community content writer. With this being They Came From month, and by the way, They Came From Beneath the Sea on sale for very cheap right now. Go to drive-thru. And I will hopefully be releasing They Came to Get You, Barbara. And I will be running it for Save Against Fear. Sign up on Start Playing Games.
Excellent. Yeah. And They Came From Beneath the Sea is available right now for 10% of cover price. So you cannot beat that deal. That is over at Drive-Thru RPG. And keep an eye on the Monday meeting notes for all the deals that are going to be attending that They Came From month. Next up, Fiona, please give us your pertinence.
Hey, I'm Mal. You can find me, she, her. You can find me on Twitter at Lupine Venda, or you can possibly find me down in a deep sea trench somewhere playing cards and having tea with a giant squid, which means you won't find me, probably. I played Fiona tonight, your murder hobo, who didn't actually do a lot of murdering, but that pistol whip was really kind of fun. And I think I could pick up Cherry.
I think you could pick up Cherry.
I think I could pick up Cherry. Yeah.
And I enjoyed the pistol whip as well. Good
yes.
Good form. Good form.
Okay.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you at the table. It's been our first time playing
together. Thank you.
I really look forward to playing together again in the near future. Thank you.
I had a lot of fun.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear it. Next up, Henri, please give us your pertinence.
Well, my name is Scott, he, him. I played Henri, he, him. You can find me on Twitter at Simulacra RPGs. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Simulacra TV. That is Simulacra Studios, the actual play studio that I run. Do a whole lot of Trinity Continuum there. And I had a blast with this. I had a blast with my terrible bird and all of my my friends and all of the mutant pathos that I got to shove out there.
I imagine Cherry and Henri are now trying to teach Joel how to survive and do the Aberrant mutant thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Indeed. And thank you once again for test driving Corrupted, which is now available over at Drive-Thru RPG via the Storypath Nexus.
I mean, I was nowhere near as broken as I could have been.
No, you can make some pretty powerful starting character with it. They have capacities for dramatic editing, as we saw on the stream today. I don't know how to type and talk at the same time, as we've established, so I just threw the link in the chat now. And yes, and much love in the chat for Brigitte as well.
She's the best worst.
And you will find Brigitte, these characters, and this entire scenario soon at the Storypath Nexus. It'll be under Bad News Playground interview with the Aberrant. So we're going to put this up, so in case you want to run it at your own table at home, you can do so. You can already pick up Corrupted if you want to try out that template. So once again, bottom of my heart, thanks, Scott, for helping me for playtesting that.
Anytime.
It was huge. Next up, Cherry, please, your pertinence.
Hi, everyone. I'm Haley, also known as Beyblade 666 on the internet. I had a really good time playing Cherry 5000 today, the kind of old technology cyborg that does her best.
I kind of love it. I want to.
Thank you.
I plan on running a anime game at some point in the near future, and I would love to have you come and play a cyborg who has technology that's new in them at the time when we do that.
All right.
But I'm glad you enjoyed the character. And thank you again for being here. Did you have anything you wanted to promote?
I just wanted to say I played They Came from Beyond the Grave, and it's a great game. Like, totally enjoyed it. And I want to run They Came from Camp Murder Lake at some point on one of my other channels. So
Well, you say the word and you can run They Came from Camera Lake on this channel. You just say so. You're a friend here.
yeah.
We'll hook it up. you say when, we'll make it happen.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. Next up, Joel, please give us your pertinence.
I am James, who was playing the poor unfortunate Joel.
Oh, unfortunate Joe.
Both of our pronouns are they, he. I don't really exist on the social media sphere, but you should be able to see me Tuesday back here for Fog Over Linden Station, which is a Contagion Chronicle. Looking forward to that because it's another system I've never played before, but it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I have such sights to show you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I'll get into that in a second. But before I dive too far into the Contagion Chronicle, because yeah, we have a little bit to talk about there. Let's get Slip. Please give us your pertinence.
My name is Joshua Deach, he, him. I've been playing your frightened C3PO, Shaggy, Psychic Slip, and no one is more surprised than him that he got out alive. As far as promotions, I had the great pleasure of writing one of my favorite things to have written for. They Came from Beyond the Grave, which has already several supplements out. Check them out on Drive Through. Even the book itself has 2 example adventures in it. One of which I wrote is called The Mask of the Hideous Heart, which is takes every possible Poe reference and crams it into one mystery that spans both the modern time of the 70s and the vaguely 18-somethings. And there's lots of Poe references in it, but the basic premise is that what if the guy in the Telltale Heart was right, and that is an evil demonic heart that's crawling around doing awful things.
That might be the most you story I've ever heard in my life.
That I got to put as much of myself. That was actually a short story I wrote or tried to write in grad school. It didn't quite work, but it made an excellent role-playing game adventure, I think. But or it worked much better for that. Yeah, awesome. You can reach me at there at Joshua Deach at Twitter.
Beautiful. And last but not least, that leaves me. I am Travis, he, they. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them. I was blessed and super lucky to be a part of Shards of Contagion, which just dropped. And that's over at the Storyteller's Vault. And that we will be playing a scenario out of Fog Over Linden Station starting on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing session 0 this week, doing character creation. Looking forward to a bit of spooky play for the spooky season. I've been spending a lot of time in the Trinity Continuum of late. And I think it's been a little while since I've dusted off my horror chops. So we'll see how that goes for all of my beautiful players, particularly Joel. James, I'm looking forward to it. So now I'm in the habit of calling you by your characters now. But having said that, we've been very grateful for everybody that's been watching. Thank you so much. Whether you're catching this live, catching it in a VOD, watching it on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe, like, share, spread the word. Check out the books that we're showing off here. And I just want to remind you to get your vaccines, wash your hands, take care of yourselves and one another. You're the only you. So take good care of you because you're awesome just the way you are. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Remember to pass your stamina checks.
Yes.